Have you ever noticed that your brain can look you directly in the face, make a terrible decision, and then immediately start defending it in court? For instance, you eat an entire family sized bag of chips, and before guilt can even sit down, your brain stands up and goes, Your Honor, my client has been under a lot of stress lately. Okay, bad example. That one's actually pretty reasonable. Welcome back to Estelle Thinks Too Much. Yep, I changed the channel name. And if you're wondering why I suddenly rebranded my entire online identity, don't worry, there is a reason. A surprisingly stupid one, but a reason. I'll explain it at the end of the video. Today, we're talking about cognitive dissonance, which is a very scientific way of saying my actions and my beliefs are currently fighting in a parking lot. Most of the time, it happens by accident. You believe one thing, you do another. And then your brain desperately tries to explain why those two things are somehow not contradicting each other. And usually, this doesn't particularly end well. But what if we did it on purpose? What if we stopped treating cognitive dissonance like a bug and started using it like a feature? Because it turns out, this annoying little psychological mechanism can actually help you change your behavior. And it starts with identity. Instead of waiting for your actions to decide who you are, you decide first. I'm someone who keeps my word. I'm someone who takes responsibility. I'm someone who stays focused. And yes, saying things like that feels weird at first, possibly embarrassing, possibly the kind of thing you'd never admit out loud in front of other people. But if you can push through that discomfort, it becomes surprisingly powerful. Because the moment you adopt an identity, your brain starts fact-checking it. It immediately opens a folder labeled evidence to the contrary. Now every action gets compared against the story you're telling yourself. When you procrastinate, when you break a promise, when you spend 40 minutes researching productivity instead of being productive, your brain notices the mismatch, except this time, it's actually helping. Your brain starts nudging you toward alignment, because the gap between who you believe you are and what you're doing becomes harder to ignore. That's why identity is often more powerful than goals. Goals tell you what you want. Identity tells you who you're becoming. And people are surprisingly motivated to stay consistent with who they believe they are. Not perfectly, not instantly, not in a movie montage where you suddenly wake up at 5 a.m., drink green smoothies, and achieve enlightenment for breakfast. Real life is much less cinematic. It's usually a collection of small choices, repeated often enough that identity slowly starts feeling real. Oh, wow, you actually stayed until this part of the video. I guess you were really curious about why I changed the channel name. Well, since you're already here, I might as well keep my promise. The old name was Lilith, which I chose after approximately 3 seconds of research and a dangerous high level of confidence. At the time, I just thought it sounded cool and mysterious. Then, more than a year later, I found out Lilith was a mythical demon. Kind of. So apparently, I accidentally named my channel after a demon and somehow nobody thought that was important information to share with me. Amazing. As for Estelle Thinks Too Much, Estelle is a name I really liked ever since I was a kid. And unlike last time, I actually did my research before committing to it. Turns out, Estelle comes from Latin word for star, which was a pretty nice surprise. And Thinks Too Much is, well, self-explanatory. Besides that, not much else is changing. I'll still be here making videos about whatever random thought decides to move into my brain and refuse to pay rent. The only difference is that now the channel name actually warns people what they're getting into. Anyway, I guess that's all. Thank you for watching, thank you for sticking around through all the changes. And thank you for giving my weird little corner of the internet a chance. I really appreciate it. Now, go drink some water, get some sleep, and stop overthinking. At least one of us should. I'll see you in the next video.